Hello, all. Welcome to Talking Back Sunday. Today is Tuesday, March 23rd, 2021. Spring is sprung.
Yes.
Spring has sprung.
hmm That's what they
It
say, and it's true.
Say it.
has it
Say it.
Pray it.
Spring
has
is
it been the first day of spring already? Like when is that?
I think it was the 20th this year.
Yeah, it was just a few
Oh,
days ago.
well no, because today's like the 8th. What is today?
23rd.
Oh, wow, it's the 23rd.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, where does the time go, fellas?
Flies, bro.
No.
Flies.
Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Mhm.
I
Or
am
not.
I'm not really having that much fun is the problem.
Oh, yeah. Me neither. It sucks.
Still flies though.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun, though, we're going to have some fun today. We're going to talk about near-death experiences.
Oh,
Woo!
mama.
How fun is that? Very spooky.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So did someone ask, were they like, hey, have you guys had any near-death experiences? And
They
we were like,
emailed
yeah.
us. Yeah,
Oh,
we,
nice.
we've had several. We've been alive for almost all of us have been alive for almost 40 years
hmm
or more. So you're
Yeah.
gonna have some near-death experiences. You're gonna have some stuff happen. Yes, they emailed us at takingbacksundaypod@gmail.com. They said, "Hey,
Ah.
have you guys almost died? Tell me about it."
There's well, who's gonna go first?
Well, John and I had one that was a little bit interesting. Adam, I think you have to finish it up because yours was most terrifying, and we were all there for it.
Yeah.
So why don't we
That's
start off
true.
with John? Why don't you start telling the story about when we flipped our van with Straylight Run?
Sure. Yeah. So we were playing a show. I can't remember exactly where it was. I don't know if it really matters, but
I think it was Grand Rapids or Cleveland with Coheed and
okay.
Cambria.
Yeah, I remember it was the last show of a short run with Coheed and Cambria, and we were doing it in a van instead of a bus. I think because it was a short run and made more sense for us to do it.
Saving
And it
those
was one of
shekels.
those drives back where it was a little bit far to do without stopping for the night, but it was the last show and everyone wanted to get home. And so we just, I think, decided to power through, just leave straight after the show is over, drive through the night, and then we, be home sometime early in the afternoon or something like that. So the drive took us through the mountains, I think somewhere in Pennsylvania. And
Yeah, we
it
were
was
just west of Pittsburgh. Yeah, just east of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and so we're driving through the middle of the night, and it's snowing pretty bad, and the roads are getting icy. And I had driven my share, I think, earlier. I don't remember exactly, but I ended up going to sleep in the back of the van, and Shaun was at the wheel, probably at about 5 or 6 a.m. And I don't know if you could take it for a bit now, Shaun.
Yeah. So I'm driving. The snow's getting pretty bad. The sun is up now. I pull over and I'm like, man, the snow's getting really bad. I should probably just like stop and sleep, but there really wasn't anywhere to stop. So we were outside of I don't know if it was a Walmart or something, but there wasn't really much going on. And I was trying to sleep in the driver's seat and I couldn't fall asleep. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go a little bit further and see if I can get to something maybe a little bit better, and maybe we can get some rest or find something because this is nuts. I'm like, it should be safer. I mean, the sun is up, so how bad could it be? So we start cruising down. I'm like, man, it's getting really, really bad. And Will Noon, our drummer, was next to me. He'd put in Death Cab for Cutie's Transatlanticism. And within like moments of the first song opening, we start fishtailing. So we're towing a trailer.
Oh,
We we start sliding all over the highway. Thank God there was no one else on the road because we were the only ones stupid enough to be out like that. And the van and trailer swung around 180 degrees, and then just before a ravine, we landed softly on our side. We tip over, and everyone in the van wakes up to us spinning around and Will going, "Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!"
oh.
Yeah, that's what I remember is sleeping, not very soundly, but kind of sleeping in the back, and then feelings you felt a little weird and hearing oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, and then sitting up as the van is in mid-spin in the middle of the interstate with
my
the
God,
New Year
dude.
by Death Cab for Cutie playing, which was an oddly perfect soundtrack. I actually talked about this on my on the You Got to Hear This podcast a couple of months ago because
Oh, the All Your Charlotte Friends podcast.
yeah, all my Charlotte friends but Adam
Cool.
podcast.
Cool. Cool.
The song really couldn't have been better for what was happening, and everything seemed like it was slow motion. I mean, the whole spin out and then falling on its side, it couldn't have taken more than 10 seconds, but it felt like 5 minutes. It was very surreal.
And then it seemed like everything took forever because we're over on our side. And I don't know if you've ever tried to open up a car door when it's on its side, but those things are heavy.
Yeah, so we're all standing up trying to like push the doors open to climb out the top, which well, the top, it had become the top, which was the side of the van.
Yeah, and we didn't really know where we were. Like, I guess you could see out the windshield. I guess we knew we were out of the way of traffic, thankfully. We were on the shoulder, miraculously. And we were able to hop out and call the police and stuff. And they came and took care of us. And I forget what the heck happened. I guess we hopped in someone's car and went to a local hotel or something.
We had a tow truck came before the cops. That's what I remember. Because I'll never forget this like small town Pennsylvania tow truck driver showed up and he called the cops, and I guess or maybe it was the other way around, I can't remember, but so there, I guess it's small enough town where everybody knows each other, so the tow truck driver is waiting for like the cop to show up, and we're all just sitting there in the snow at like 7 a.m. just like in silence, and the tow truck goes, "Man, that Andy is slower than molasses in January."
That's verbatim what he said.
Oh man, that's amazing. Dude, so no one was hurt though, right?
No, not really. Michelle,
Will and I had our seatbelts on. I don't think John did. Michelle had hers laying down in the back, and she was the most hurt. She had like a scrape on her side from the seatbelt.
Yeah, she.
And I think she might have bumped her head a little bit too.
Yeah, I
But
definitely
other than
fell like flat on my face and hands like against the window, which didn't feel good, but I didn't have any injuries from it.
you didn't go through, which is crazy. Like no broken glass.
Dude.
The tow truck driver, the craziest thing was the tow truck driver was able to pull the van upright. And the worst thing we had was a flat on the trailer tire. We were able to bring that to a Walmart, and they were able to just reinflate the tire. It hadn't even popped. It just kind of slipped off the rim. And they're like, well, all the fluids are going to be mixed. You'll never drive this van again. Not only did we drive the van home the very next day, but that van did like a full tour the next summer around the United States.
Man, that's a good, like, you guys should be a spokesperson for whatever kind of van that was. Because
yeah, it was a Dodge.
Yeah, because you weren't hurt and the van was totally fine, and it got up to fight another day. I mean, I don't know, I couldn't think of any better endorsement.
Yeah, we stayed at a weird like roadside motel, but they had like a restaurant, and I remember I bought a bottle of really, really cheap champagne from the restaurant to celebrate, and proceeded to get hammered and sleep the rest of the way home. The next morning we made Will drive because he was the surest at the wheel. And I was a nervous wreck. Like the 6 hours or 8 hours we went home the next day.
Yeah, and so I think Shaun briefly touched on it, but the thing that made it the most close to near death is that we got out, and literally about 10 feet down the road, there was a steep hill that went down into the forest that if we had gone over there, it would have tumbled downhill, and God knows what would have happened.
Yeah, odds of survival would be very slim.
Wow.
Dang, that's terrifying. Too, like, I can't imagine waking up and then sitting up and you're in a vehicle that's just spinning around. Like, that sounds
It was very.
That sounds like something you would see in a movie.
It felt
Yeah.
like it, actually. It felt like it. Yeah, it was really wild. It was funny, Shaun, when you said the thing about being at the hotel, I remember going there and being just really shook and drinking. I don't remember getting hammered though. I remember it being one of those things where like either your adrenaline or something is so like overloaded that I just was like drinking and felt just like dead sober for like hours of drinking. Just like
Yeah. I think it was
could not
only
drink
like
enough.
the physical effects of the alcohol were the only thing that put me to sleep that night.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was bad for a while. Like I just remember, yeah, like hours and hours of just feeling completely on edge, just like every little thing felt like
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do that.
yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah, so that was
Yeah.
ours.
But here we are.
Man, we Mark and I, so like we were playing a bunch of radio shows, and then so like they were just like one day after the next, so we were flying but between a lot of them, and there was one, I don't remember where we were. I think we were flying to Reno,
From LA
and
to Reno.
the weather was just so bad. And dude, like, yeah, like I think it was like us and Mike Kim, right?
I, and maybe the used. I think maybe
Yeah,
all three bands were on that flight.
yeah. So we take off, and then like I remember, because normally like I just always try to sleep on planes. And then, but then like there was one point to where like I was lifted out of my seat, like not like I didn't hit the ceiling or anything, but like just like I came up out of my seat because the turbulence was so bad. And then, or wait, am I remembering this wrong? Because there's another flight that we just got off of, right?
Well, that flight they flew back to LA on that flight. On this
Yeah.
flight to Reno, they flew back to LA because it was so damn scary that they were just like, forget it, we can't land. We're flying back to LA. And I remember when they made that choice, I was like, oh my God, what the hell?
Yeah,
Thank
dude.
God.
Like, dude, because we'd be going, and like there's like the normal amount of turbulence that just got kind of like whoa, and then you're fine. Like this was like turbulence, and then it would just drop, and then it would come back up, and it was like throwing everybody around. So like, yeah, so anyway, so then they had to turn around, but then like, was it that same day or was it the next day? I don't remember, but we went to get on another flight to try to get to the same place, and then and then like they were saying that the weather was still bad, and so we're like sitting on the runway on the plane, or like at the gate still, and then Eddie just like got up, he's like, fuck this, I'm not doing this, and then like got off the plane. And then I just remember kind of looking around like, well, guess we're getting off the plane. Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
and then but and so it was fucking terrifying. But the thing is, to this day, that specific promoter still has a grudge against us for not going to the show, even though it was unsafe. Like the airlines wouldn't go there because the weather was so bad. And then so there's that.
I talked about this flight, and yes, I guess Mike Ham was on that flight, because now I'm remembering I talked about this flight one time, I guess when we were on tour with Frankie Iero, and he was like, wait a minute, to Reno? And he was like, yo, I talk about this flight all the time. Like, he was like, we were going to die. If we were going to, like, that shit was going down. If they didn't go back up. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. So that was definitely the most scary flight experience I've ever had in my life. hands down, I will never forget that. That was terrifying.
Yeah, dude. Yo, I remember Mikey being like, dude, fuck this, man. Fuck, dude, I'm never, no, dude, fuck this.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he was freaking out.
And,
You know
and
what
like
I
I
do
think
remember about it while that was happening? Bert,
Dude.
I remember Bert going, laughing throughout the entire time. And I was thinking, yo, man, what the fuck are you laughing about? Like, just like,
This is not the time.
and like we've flown through a lot of like crazy things, but like normal crazy. You know, like there was one time we were supposed to land in Detroit and the plane was about to land and then went back up and made a circle. Like I'm like, that's probably not good.
Yeah, this was like
We're seasoned flyers, man. So for that to be that scary, it's something.
It was something. It was something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to know the difference after a while between a little turbulence and you might die.
Yeah.
There's a thin line. But man. Yeah, dude, that was yeah, and I still can't believe that
The radio guy.
yeah, like just still
How-
is mad at us. Like
how
even
weird.
though yeah, right?
Did he not believe you or something?
Don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think he was just thinking about himself.
Because the
And
normal
not-
response to that would be like, hey, okay, well, just I'm happy you guys are okay. We'll figure
Yeah.
something else out in the future. Right? Wouldn't that be your
Yeah.
response if you're in his position?
100%. I would be disappointed, sure.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. It's okay to be
But-
disappointed.
Yeah. But yeah. So, and then so should we talk about the tree? Should we talk
Yeah.
about the tree now?
Sure,
Okay.
sure. If you're feeling game.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's so like we were at Rancho Recordo, which is our pal Mark Hudson's place, and it's in Michigan, and it's kind of like out in the woods, you know. And we were writing for Happiness Is, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so we were writing for Happiness Is, and we're like, and like his studio is connected to his house. So like the left-hand side of the house is the studio, the right-hand side is the house. And then so I went outside and I was having a cigarette, and Eddie was out there too. And then kind of how the front door is, like there's the front door like here, and then like the studio part of the house kind of comes out like this. So here's the door. And then like I had like walked around the corner and I was over here, and then I turned to go back towards the door, and the next thing I know, I'm pinned against this corner of the house, like my leg is on either side of the corner, and I'm on my back, but like my feet are still on the ground. So I'm like, you know, like bent over backwards, and there's a fucking tree on top of it. And didn't hear it happening. Like it was windy out, but we didn't hear like or whatever the fuck a tree falling noise is. And then so like we didn't hear anything. And it was just 1 second I turned to walk towards the door, and the next second there's this giant tree on top of me. And then so A goes behind me and he like picks me up because I couldn't stand up and my legs were pinned. So he's holding me. So I'm like this, you know, trees all around me. Like I was like super fat then too. And then so like he's like holding me up, and I'm just screaming because it's like the pain in my legs was insane. And then so yeah, like I'm like screaming and yelling and screaming. And then like I don't know how much time passed, but I just remember John came out at one point and just says, all right, that's enough. And and then at that point, like I was like really mad because he was telling me that that's enough. But then I also realized, well, yeah, the screaming isn't helping anybody. It just really hurts. And then so like I'm like there, and then so then finally an ambulance comes, and Eddie's still holding me up, and everybody's kind of coming in and out of the house, and then like everyone had like tried to move the tree from what I remember, but there was just no moving it because it's a giant fucking tree. And then so the ambulance comes, and there's this guy, one of the paramedics, or like I don't know if it was the fire department, I don't really know, but it's just, I just look like kind of over my shoulder, and he's coming down the driveway, it's a pretty long driveway, ripping a chainsaw. And then then he comes up and they chainsaw the tree so they could move it and get me out. And then so they get me out, and then take me to the hospital. And my left leg above my ankle was broken by the tree. And and so they just really paid attention to that. But the thing is, my other leg was the tree had like impaled my leg. But being as the other leg was broken, they just focused on that. So, and because you couldn't tell how deep the wound was on my right leg. And they were telling me, they were like, man, if you were like just a few inches like back or to your left, like that just would have fallen on your head and you would have been dead. Like you would have died. And so I just, it's a crazy thing to say that wow, I got really lucky when that tree fell on me, but I did. So, but I do remember being in, when we were like in the hospital, because John went with me, and they like gave me so like just all these drugs. So I was like laughing, having a good time. Like we made friends with the nurse. And then but then waking up the next day was terrible because they gave me a cast. So like then like Hudson's house was still like being remodeled, or like he was still working on it. So I had like a pallet like in what was the living room. And then like Shaun had to go to the store to get sweatpants that we could fit over the cast, because the cast went up to like the top of my thigh.
Yes.
So like from my toes to the top of the thigh. So we had to find some wide legged sweatpants that we could fit around the cast because it was giant. And yeah, so I was in that. And then yeah, so then I have to fly home. So I'm like sitting in this airplane seat with like like I think they put me in first class because the cast was so big, which was the worst way to get upgraded to first class.
Yeah.
But there's so yeah, so there. And then like I get home, and then I remember going, like I went to the doctor and they took the big giant cast off. And when they took the cast off, like there were some bandages because it had cut up that leg pretty bad also, but there were bandages under the cast. And when they were taking the bandages off, like because I have like the tattoos on my leg, like there was, when they took the bandage off, I could see the tattoos on the bandage. Like there was like something had happened. So like or like, so I have these like really cool tough stars down there, and yeah, like you could see them perfectly on the bandage. So they take that off, and then I get like they didn't do another cast, they just did one of those crazy boots. And then I basically, like I spent the next however long, like month or two or month, and then I was just in bed the whole time, like because keep in mind, like my other leg is really fucked up too, but it's not broken. So nobody thought, like they just thought, oh, there's just some cuts on there. And so then but like anytime I would go to get out of bed, like it took a minute because the blood would rush down to my legs, and it took forever to get to the bathroom. So I was just in bed, whatever. So then we have the Navy tour scheduled. And then after the Navy tour, we went to Australia. No. Vice versa, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Australia
So,
first, so the longest flight of your life.
Yeah. So
Right.
Australia, then the Navy tour. So we fly to Australia, which is like, I'm coming from North Carolina. So it's like we fly North Carolina, LA, Sydney. And then I don't even think the tour started in Sydney. So then Sydney, another fucking flight. And then so I go and like I take the boot off and my leg is just so swollen, and like my other leg is swollen because it's all fucked up. And I didn't even really know it. I just knew it hurt. And then so like after like a day or two of being in Australia, like I like told Hudson, because he was tour managing us at the time. I'm like, hey man, like I think I need to go to a doctor. This is not good. So like I go and I take the bandage off my right leg, the leg that's not broken. So imagine being on crutches, right? And then I can't use my left leg at all, and my right leg is really fucked up. So it was just like being mobile was next to impossible. So I'm like going and go to the doctor, and which their healthcare system in Australia, I gotta say, is so far superior to what it is in America. And like they don't even wear the white coats there, because apparently the white coats, like there's no reason for them other than it puts people at ease, like mentally. Anyway, and then so like I go in, doctor comes in, and I remember he takes the bandage off, and once it's off, he just goes, ooh, and like steps back. And then so it turns out in my right leg, it was like the hole was like, like that deep. And ugh, and I had a fucking staph infection. So now I have fucking MRSA, and we're in Australia, and we're nowhere close to going home. Like the Australia's like, it was like us and Newfound Glory, and then somebody
Oh,
else.
that was when we found glory.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We might, I
Okay.
think we might not even have played our first show yet when you were at the doctor. Because, we got there and had a day to settle in, and then maybe one other day. I feel like
Yeah.
it was
Or
just
like to
getting started.
acclimate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you were realizing all this stuff at the doctor.
So, and this is another funny thing about a promoter. So we're doing the shows in Australia. I have this staph infection with my leg. So basically they give you this medicine that you have to like, after you clean everything, you got to like pack it in there. And there were 2 of those on my right leg. I still have these crazy like scars from it. So they pack it full of this stuff. And then we're playing every night, and like I have like my microphone on a mic stand, the effect mic on a mic stand, like a little stand that has like my chaos pad that I run the effects thing through, and then a stool, because I couldn't stand up for that long or for that long of a period of time without sitting down, because it hurt, and it like my legs were fucked up. So and this is a little side note, but the promoter for those shows was also upset with us because we weren't like playing like we normally do. And it's like, fuck you, man. I couldn't use my legs and I almost died like a month ago. Cut us a break. We're still here and we're still playing the shows, right? So anyways.
It's crazy to. Go ahead.
Yeah, so then after all that, we do the Australian tour, and now we're doing a Navy tour, which is awesome because it takes us to like Kuwait, Rota in Spain. We were in Sicily, like all over, and playing for the troops. But this whole time it's the same thing. Like I can't use my legs. It hurts so bad all the time.
And we're
And
flying every other day, basically.
yes, and I'm having to like clean, like my left leg's broken, so I'm like still having to clean that up, like with like the goop that you have to stick in your fucking deep wound. And then but my right leg, so I'm like doing that. And then the only benefit of it was that they zipped you right through the airport. That's the
Yep.
only thing that was good. And then so I remember we were sitting at that Cooper's in that airport in
I think it's
Australia.
Adelaide.
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah,
Brisbane,
and
Adelaide? I forget. But
Brisbane?
yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, at the
so
airport.
yeah, so we're sitting there and we're all sitting around the table. I'm in my fucking wheelchair, and then I'm like, guys, I don't think I can do the Navy tour. I just, because the show is too, like it was so frustrating because I'm like, I want to be able to do the thing, but I can't, my body physically can't. So, and like then, but at that point, I guess it was too late to cancel the Navy stuff. So we went and did it anyways. And and like we had the best time that we could. And or I did. And like I think that was the one, Mark, like you like wrestled like a Marine and I missed it and I was so jealous because like
That
I
was in
was just
Rhoda.
at,
Yeah.
or like yeah, because I just like
I wouldn't say I
had to
wrestled
be in
it.
the hotel
He
room.
wrestled me.
At your
Well, like you
request.
get,
Yeah, at my
you got,
request. Yeah.
yeah, like you got manhandled by a Marine and then
I requested that he kick the shit out of me over and over.
so like yeah, I just remember being jealous, felt like I was missing out.
Yeah.
And then so like yeah, so then we go home and I didn't know this was a thing, but it makes perfect sense. And then but there's like a like I had to go to like a wound specialist. So my leg is healing, my left leg, and then my right one, I had to go like, you go like once a week and they go and they like clean it out, like they flush it out. And then I just remember because I'd be laying on the table and I couldn't look. And I just remember the nurse being telling me that that I was being a big baby because I had all those tattoos, and then but I can't look at them cleaning out my leg. What, like, don't be such a baby. I'm like, oh, that's fair. And then so yeah,
People.
so like I did that, and then eventually that closed up. And then it was crazy though, because like once that was finally all healed, like even like 2 months after like I had gotten out of the boot, my legs, because I couldn't use them really, were like, there was just, it's like any muscle that was in my legs was almost gone. So I had like these like two little stick legs. But and it was before I started like working out again. So I just looked like somebody propped up like a watermelon on two little straws, you know? And and yeah, so that was my story about the thing. So the thing is, and the only good joke I got out of the thing was that if somebody asks you, well, it's not even really a joke, it's just more of a statement. If somebody, like they ask you that age-old question, you know, like if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? And the answer is no, it doesn't. It never makes a sound. It just, you won't know it until it's on top of you. I could have said that better. So yeah, so that was my near death experience. A tree almost broke my neck, and instead it just broke my legs.
That was a crazy, like, that was just crazy to see and to hear. Like, I went to bed early that night, and man, the sound of that tree falling, like as soon as I heard it, I just sat up and I was like, that, I knew it wasn't good. Like right instantly when I heard it, I was like, something
Well,
very
like
bad. Wait,
yeah,
what?
or like, sorry to interrupt, but because it like hit the side of the house too.
Well, I mean, that was a massive tree, and just the sound that it made, and the rumbling, and just like the whole house shook, and I knew immediately. I was like, whatever just happened was not good, and that was correct. I remember John ran in. It was like, Mark, you need to get down here. A tree fell on it, and dude, that was for you to deal with that, like yourself. But man, to even just to look at it was hard. That was a really hard thing to look at.
Dude, yeah, like I couldn't imagine.
Like,
well,
it was wild.
There's like, even like looking back, thinking about being pinned under this tree and like having to be held up like under my arms, you know, and then like having to have some guy chainsaw me out so they could move the pieces of the tree that were so heavy. That's just crazy to think about. That never really dawned on me how that must have looked until right now.
Well, you know, like trees. Remember how you brought up how trees are really heavy?
Yeah,
are.
they're so heavy.
I never thought about that before in my life. And then when we were trying to move that tree, I was like, this shit is not moving at all. Trees are very heavy.
Because it like dug itself in the ground under your leg.
Yeah, dude,
And-
like I remember you guys trying to pull it up because it was all of us there. Was Nathan there too?
I think he might have been actually because
Yeah.
he was working. He was kind of like helping out a little bit with some arranging and
Yeah.
you know like and yeah, he was there because I remember we had a decent amount of guys trying to move this tree. I think it was maybe 5 people.
Yeah,
And,
because it was like us plus Nate and Ray and Mark Hudson.
Yeah.
So that was the thing, Adam, when you were talking about the screaming before. So like we're all freaking out. I think I think someone had called 911 immediately. So that was out of the way. We're just trying to figure out what we can do in this situation. And then we're all just gathering around the tree, just trying to lift it with all of our might. But it's a tree. Like it had to be like 30 feet tall or something. And, you know, and you probably couldn't even you could maybe barely put your arms around the thing. And we're just lifting, and the whole time you're just screaming at us and like just like yelling at us, telling us to get it off you, and we're trying to get it off you. We're doing everything we can possibly think of to get this tree off of you, and it's impossible.
Yeah, you would think like 5 full-grown adults, you could pick up a cut log,
Yeah.
even if it's pretty big, and walk it away. But this was not budging. Like I said, it dug under the house and under your leg.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think someone was running in and getting you whiskey and stuff to try and help. It was like we're in the freaking Civil War.
Yeah.
Here, bite on this towel.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
You like
Make a rock record.
Yo, the
break
wild,
a
like,
stick off the tree to bite on.
dude, a vision that I will never forget for the rest of my life is seeing you on one side of the tree and then part of like your foot and part of your leg way on the other side of the tree. And I was like, that was when it like really hit me. I was like, holy shit. Like he's over there, his foot and his leg are over here. Like
That's not
so
good.
yeah, that's bad.
Dude.
This is bad.
And I remember not computing, like, how are we going to get him out of here? And when the paramedic rolled up with the chainsaw, I'm like, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
This guy knew right away.
He
And
had
I was
done
like,
that before.
I
Yeah.
can't believe this is relief in a movie. This would be horrifying.
Yeah, some dude
Stranger running down the driveway.
like, cranking a chainsaw.
With the blue and red lights behind him.
What a
But,
thing.
yeah.
What a thing.
Dude,
Hey,
dude,
you're alive.
yeah. There's a, or like, yeah, like I got very lucky, like really unlucky and very lucky all at the same time. There's like the place that we were living in Raleigh. There are these really tall pine trees, but like when you go out the back door and in the backyard, there's really big tall pine trees. And anytime the wind would blow, they would all just kind of sway like this. And I would always like, or like still like would just kind of like back up, you know, and then just get so nervous. Like, I'm just gonna go inside. I just don't need to be out here for this. And that's when I sold my motorcycle after that. Cause I was like, yo, if I'm the guy the tree falls on, I probably shouldn't be riding a motorcycle anymore.
It's good thinking.
Yeah.
Missed that thing, but it was for the best. So yeah, there's our near death experiences.
Yeah, man. We've seen some shit in our time.
Yeah. There's like, I was trying to think if there's any other ones, but I feel like if you have to think too hard about it, then it wasn't a near death experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's man, I remember too, sorry, just because I'm like, I haven't thought about it this much in a really long time, but when I got home, or like I think because of the medication they were giving me too, because it hurt so much, you know, like that, like I slept, like I remember like I would like wake up just to go to the bathroom, and but I pretty much just slept for like 3 or 4 days straight, just because I couldn't do anything else. And then the medication they gave me just kept me sleeping.
And it's so traumatic too. That has to be so stressful in your brains. Like even if you're not perceiving it because maybe the medication has you a little bit numb to it, but your brain and body trying to heal itself. I can't imagine.
Dude, oh, also this is something we brought up uh, a while ago, but I don't think we talked about it. But once I had an edible, and this was afterwards, and it might have been a little too much because I had it in my brain that I had actually died when the tree fell on me, and I was living in like this Vanilla Sky type situation. Like,
That shit must have been strong.
yeah, I was convinced of it, and yeah. So be careful out there, kids.
Hey, you never know.
Man,
But
I think it's nice to know that we're old enough now to know that, like, man, like if something like that ever happened, like we would never go on tour now if that had happened.
Yeah.
oh yeah, dude, like
God willing, like that never happens again. You know what I mean? Nothing like that.
Yeah, lessons learned.
But man,
Like,
shit,
I don't-
like, why did we
I
do
don't-
that? Why did we go on tour? Like, what a stupid choice for us to make.
yeah, like I don't think that I should have been on that tour.
No.
Like I probably wouldn't have gotten MRSA in my leg had
Yeah.
we not been doing that, like sitting
Yeah.
on an airplane for 20 hours. But yeah, dude, like if something like that happened, we'd be like, you know what? You just need to heal, man. You just
Yeah.
heal, you do you, and we'll send you some song ideas. We can work on that. Like
Yeah, we'll
online.
figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was that. Yeah, we're fucking crazy, is what we are. But
Well-
but that also goes to show how much we fucking love what we do. Like, I mean, because yeah, sure, there were moments of like, this sucks. What the fuck are we doing? But I wouldn't trade it. You know, we still got to play those shows and experience that.
Yeah, and the smart move was to stay home, but you loved it so much that you're like, you if you didn't love it, you would have just not shown up to the airport. As simple as that.
Yeah. And then if anybody got mad at me, I'd be like, my legs don't work. Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Well, like none of us would have ever gotten mad about it, but I think part of the problem is the way like this touring business works. Like Adam, like you said, like the promoter, after you guys almost die in a plane crash and can't make it to the show, and he holds a grudge against you. So when you're in a situation like this where you might have to cancel a whole run of shows and you got promoters and agents and all these people that are mostly just pissed that they're being inconvenienced and not for a second thinking about what's going to be best for you, you know, like
Yeah.
that's a lot of pressure you get put on you, you know. It's like all these people are going to be mad at me and our band, and who knows what's going to happen if we cancel these shows, and you start thinking about that, and it's tough. And that is a real, I think, a real problem in the line of work that we do. Is that's always an issue. You have to make these decisions about whether you're going to let down a bunch of people in business or do like what's healthy and like best for yourself, you know.
Yo, or in society as a whole, like what the
That's
fuck
true,
kind of
yeah.
human being
Yeah.
Yeah.
like has no like his empathy is just out the fucking door? Like, what is wrong with you? You
That's-
piece of
Yeah.
fucking shit. You know
There's
what I
a-
mean?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, dude. Like, I think that yeah, Mark, I think you're right. Like, I like think that there's like that it points out a larger problem of this like serious lack of empathy that people just have in general. Because I'm like, sure, that happens in other lines of work
Definitely.
too.
Definitely. Yeah.
But there's, man, like there was, but that, yeah, I mean, even when it comes to like mental health issues or like, yeah, like physical issues, like I do, like I think it's easier for us speak about it because we're in that line of work, you know, so we're more aware of it. But there's, yeah, like I think there's tons of people that just power through because what else are you gonna do, you know?
Yeah.
And that was kind of our mentality then too, because we were nursing the band back to health after, you know, some pretty unsuccessful years, especially with John and I coming back to the band and the self-titled
Yeah.
record not being as successful as we had hoped it would be. So we were kind of in this mentality, well, we got to do everything that comes our way. We got to remind people of who the hell we are. And decisions were made around that. Now we've kind of nursed the band back to a good place where I think we're going to be making decisions where we've proven who the hell we are over a long period of time, that we're not canceling shows because someone wants to go to a party or hang out with their friends or whatever. It's like, no, something really bad happened. A guy almost died by getting hit by a tree. Sorry, we're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Only the lead singer.
I'm only the lead singer.
Yeah, yes. It's not like the bass player.
Exactly. He had any old hump to do that garbage job.
We're
Oh,
not talking
man.
bass player over here, guy.
Yeah, lead freaking singer.
Dude,
Anyway, lessons learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, on the Australian part of that tour, like I do have to say, like I remember, like I had a good time, like hanging out with everybody though, because I couldn't like walk around or do anything, so I just was kind of always sitting where everybody was, and that was fun.
Yeah, that was a fun tour for just like general backstage hangouts.
Hangs, yeah.
Yeah, like those Newfound Glory guys and us, and with the Maine on that tour too.
Yes, that's who it was.
The Maine?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
was maybe the first
Man,
time.
I love those
or
guys.
I don't know, but yeah, that was so. That it was
Oh,
a
yeah.
good crew for just hanging around. Like even if you didn't do much, you know, it was always somebody to talk to. Like you know, something funny happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times.
Good times indeed.
Really makes you think.
Well,
Well, that's a hell of a story.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad we're all still here.
Me too.
Me too.
Glad we're
Me
not
too.
dead.
So we got more work to do.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. But well,
I think that yeah, but yeah. How about we end it like this? I think we have musically, we have not done we have not shown people or ourselves what we can, like the best that the band.
Yeah.
I can't.
You're saying the best is yet to come?
Exactly. Thank you, Shaun.
And won't it be fun, right? Is that what Frank Sinatra said?
Oh, right. Yes. The best is yet to come. It want to be fun. Album title, John. Is that on the list?
Gotta put it on the list.
Add to the list.
That would be really fucking fun. All right. Well,
All right. Well, good talk, everybody, and I will see you guys next week. Hope you enjoyed our near-death experiences because they weren't fun to live through, but we're still glad we're here.
Yeah. Not funny then, kind of funny later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.